What's that? You want to study Korean? That's crazy, because I want to study Korean. 또. 또 means too or also, and it's always attached to a noun. If I say 저는 피자를 좋아해요, what do you think this means? I like pizza. Now what if we replace the topic particle 는 with 도? 저도 피자를 좋아해요. Now we have I like pizza too, or more directly as I too like pizza. In order to make some sentences, let's introduce you to our similar-aged coworkers, Yerim and Mingon. You, Yerim and Mingon, have been talking about whether or not you're going to a work party this weekend. Even though you're similar in age, you're still coworkers in a work setting, so you'll speak formally with them. You've decided to go, so you say, 저는 가요. This translates directly to I go, but it also carries the meaning of I'm going. Yerim and Mingon have also decided to go. In order to say I'm going too, they'll simply replace the topic particle with 또.
저도 가요.
저도 가요.
Woo, we're all going. And since you're on the party committee, it's your job to report the attendees' information so that you all know how much food and how many drinks to prepare. Both Yerim and Mingon say that they will eat at the party.
저는 먹어요.
저는 먹어요.
They both plan on drinking coffee.
저는 커피를 마셔요.
저는 커피를 마셔요.
And they both are happy to play games at the party.
저는 게임을 좋아해요.
저는 게임을 좋아해요.
You might notice that all of their sentences were in present tense. I eat, I drink coffee, I like games. Yerim and Mingon could easily have used future tense here as well. 저는 먹을 거예요. 저는 커피를 마실 거예요. Which makes sense because the party is in the future. But it's still perfectly natural to use present tense in the same way that if I asked in English, who's eating at the party on Saturday? You could say, I'm eating. So we're going to stick with present tense in Korean for now. Let's report to the committee. First topic of importance, who will be eating at the party? Yerim's eating. How do we say this in Korean? Because Yerim is our similar-aged coworker, we should add she after her name since this is a work setting. 예림 씨는 먹어요. And Mingon is eating too. We will also add she after Mingon's name. Mingon 씨. But this time, we'll replace the topic particle with 또. 민건 씨도 먹어요. Next topic of importance. Who drinks coffee? Yerim drinks coffee. How do you say this in Korean? 예림 씨는 커피를 마셔요. Mingon drinks coffee too. 민건 씨도 커피를 마셔요. And finally, who's going to participate in the party games? Yerim likes games. The word for like in Korean is 좋아하다. 좋아하다. So Yerim likes games. 예림 씨는 게임을 좋아해요. Mingon likes games too. 민건 씨도 게임을 좋아해요. All the attendees' information has been reported now except you. Will you be eating? Oh, I'll be eating too. 저도 먹어요. How about coffee? 저도 커피를 마셔요. And games? 저도 게임을 좋아해요. Alright, let's get in a minute of muscle memory practice. It's 토요일 and it's 파티 시간. You run into 예림 and 민건 and you all start chatting about things that you like. 저는 게임을 좋아해요, you say. But you don't just like games. You also like 강아지. Oh, and 영화. 영화 are fun too. And goat. Who doesn't love goat? And all these other things. Let's add 도 to each one. Pause anytime if you need more time to think. And let's start with 강아지. 강아지도. 영화. 영화도. 꽃. 꽃도. 정원. 정원도. 금요일. 금요일도. 산. 산도. 고양이. 고양이도. 해변. 해변도. 무지개. 무지개도. 차. 차도. Now feel free to pause here and say each one again, but as a full sentence this time. So, I like puppies too. 강아지도 좋아해요. I like movies too. 영화도 좋아해요. I like flowers too. 꽃도 좋아해요. Go ahead and pause and say each full sentence. Now you may or may not have noticed that for each of these sentences, we added 도 to the object of the sentence. If we were to make I like puppies too a full sentence, it would be 저는 강아지도 좋아해요. But what happened to adding 도 to the topic and making 저도 강아지를 좋아해요? Let's compare these two sentences. First, let's start with our base sentence. I like puppies. 저는 강아지를 좋아해요. If you want to say, I like puppies too, you have two choices. 저도 강아지를 좋아해요. Or, 저는 강아지도 좋아해요. If 도 is in a sentence, it will replace the topic particle 는은 은, the object particle 를 or 을, or the subject particle 이 or 가. And depending on which particle it replaces, that will ever so slightly change the meaning of the sentence. If you add 도 to 저, you can think of it like, I too like puppies. As in, you have a group of people all saying, 강아지를 좋아해요. And you want to say, oh, me too. I also like puppies. 저도 강아지를 좋아해요. But if you add 도 to 강아지, you can think of it like someone asking you about all of the animals that you like. 저는 고양이를 좋아해요. 강아지도, 토끼도, 원숭이도. In other words, whichever word 도 is attached to is the word that carries the meaning of to or also. I, as well as you all, like puppies, or I like puppies as well as other animals. Let's do another quick example. 민건 is not a vegetarian, so he says, 저는 고기를 먹어요. You also eat meat. So where will you put 도? 저도 고기를 먹어요. I too eat meat, or I also eat meat. Now, Yerim wants to know what else you eat besides meat. Well, you eat a lot of 채소, or vegetables, too. 저는 채소도 먹어요. If this difference is hard for your brain to wrap your head around, honestly, just don't worry about it. This particular concept will come more naturally to your brain the more that you're exposed to 도 and see or hear more sentences in context. Another aspect of 도 that you don't need to memorize today, but just be aware of, is that 도 will replace the topic, subject, and object particles, but will not replace other particles like 에, 에서, or 한테. Instead, it will attach to these particles to make a sentence like 저는 학교에도 가요. I go to school too. We'll learn which particles get replaced and which ones don't as we go, so again, don't worry about these other particles today. As I say for every side note, don't memorize, just be aware. As long as you leave this video knowing that 도 means to or also, you're good to go. And this brings me to my final point, how to say me too in Korean. If you want to say me too as a full sentence, we will start with I too, which as you now know is 저도. But this sounds incomplete, as if you're going to continue with a whole sentence. So we have to finish this mini sentence by keeping it formal with 요. 저도요. As you know, 요 makes a sentence polite, so if you want to say this in casual form, you can drop the 요 and change 저 to 나. 나도. And for casual form, this is a full sentence. So we've got 저도요 in polite form and 나도 in casual form. And because this is a classroom setting and we don't personally know each other in person, we're going to stick with the polite form, which means that if I say, I want to eat pizza, what do you say? 저도요. And if I say, I'm learning Korean right now, what do you say? 저도요. And if I say, I like puppies, what do you say? 저도요. You better like puppies, you psychopath. We didn't have any official new vocabulary today, but here are the words that appeared in this lesson that I hadn't covered in previous videos, if you want to pause and write anything down. As always, 잘하셨어요. And I'll see you guys in the next video. 다음에 또 봐요.